Hey, I'm Marisol, and welcome back to Marisol's movie Couch. It was a corner before, and now it's a couch. Sorry, we're still working out some of the kinks. I had so much fun last time talking about some of my favorite films that I decided that I wanted to come back and talk about something a little bit different. 3 of my favorite horror films. You know, I'm one of the only ones in the studio who actually likes horror, except for Castor. We're both, anything more than PG-13 is just too scary for everyone else. So if you're not lame like them, then stick around and listen to my 3 favorites. Starting with number 3, I recommend that you watch Suspiria. This is a classic in a genre known as giallo. This is an Italian genre of a certain type of color that is often in films. Giallo comes from the Italianized way of saying yellow, so this is how we are conveying color in film. Last time I talked about a lot of confusing films, and we are keeping with that pattern here. I am not telling you anything different today. This is also a very confusing film. A woman comes to a dance academy, and she is confronted with a lot of strangeness happening at the academy, and I just don't think that there's anything quite like a 70s giallo film. This was kind of revolutionary for this time. It was unheard of for a lot of Americans to be watching anything that wasn't in English. So this film is in English, so don't worry, anyone who's a little bit slow to it. This film is completely in English, although it is a little bit clunky at times. But I think that the colors and everything happening in between will keep you on the edge of your seat. Which brings us to number 2, The Exorcist. What ex-Catholic doesn't love The Exorcist? I myself being one of them. It is one of the classics. However, if you have been living under a rock for the past 40 years, then I would say that this film is going to rock your world. My favorite scene comes pretty early on in the movie, where one of our main characters has a dream about his mother, and it comes to him strangely after finding this weird relic, and it's probably the most accurate depiction of a dream in cinema I have ever seen. You know how like in a dream you can't really hear anything? Like, you think you're hearing things, but you're not actually hearing any sound, it's kind of quiet. That's what's happening in this part. There's kind of like a general sound. You can hear the sound of his breathing because he's sleeping. You can kind of hear some yelling, but it's far off. He's waving down his mom. His mom is dead. He's saying, "Wait, Mom, wait, come back." And she's descending these subway stairs and she's leaving. It's so accurate. It's so perfect. The scene is incredible. Forget all of the classic things where Reagan's head is spinning around and she's like throwing herself up and down on this bed and spewing green things everywhere. Forget all of that. Please put it out of your mind. Remember this scene. This is the essence of The Exorcist. And I think Thomas wants to watch it right now.
The power of Christ compels you!
If you, for some reason, feel nervous or a little bit uncomfortable entering a space of cinema where, coming from the 70s and 80s, around this time, it might seem a little bit too dated, it might be a little boring. Don't. I want you to put that out of your mind. This film is not only iconic, but it also stands up to the test of time. I don't think that there's an aspect of it that is quite dated or boring. This movie has a longer runtime, but it doesn't feel that way. You are gripped the whole time. It's Friday night. All of your lame friends are out to watch Iron Man 50 or whatever number they're on. And you want to watch a cult classic horror with yours truly, Miss Marisol Price. Saddle up, buddy. It's going to be a good one. I recommend this one 100%. 10 out of 10. My number 1 movie. My number one horror, and this may come as a surprise to no one, but it is Psycho, the classic Alfred Hitchcock. Everybody knows the classic shower scene. Everybody knows it. But how many of you know the classic shot of the detective falling down the stairs backwards after he's been stabbed? How many of you know the shot of, oh my God, I forget his name. Sorry, I remember it now. How many of you remember the shot of his favorite horror film? How many of you remember the shot of Norman Bates' mom spun around in the chair, the light in the basement's going back and forth, it's creating shadows, it's scary, everyone's screaming? Do you remember this? Marisol, 10 years old, she sees her first horror movie. What is it? It is Psycho. My mom let me bring home Psycho from Blockbuster. What, was she crazy? Who did she create? The beautiful, intelligent, educated, cultured woman you see before you today is what she created by showing me a horror film at 10 years old. The way that the camera kind of zooms in on, I'll never forget this. I was like so entranced by the fact that this actress is laying on her side in the shower and the camera zooms in on her eye and it's not moving at all. Her eye is like completely still. And I remember, so little Marisol. Oh my God, how is she not dead right now? Her eye is not moving. And that is the magic of cinema. And that is how I became entranced with cinema. So, it is Friday night. You're bored. You don't want to scroll on your phone. That's even more boring. You don't want to watch Avengers 52. Marisol's here. Should we watch a movie? I think we should watch Psycho. I highly recommend it.